In this episode of My 600-Pound Life, Samantha, a 35-year-old woman who is practically bedridden and barely able to have a bath, tries to lose some weight, but before she even gets to half of her weight loss journey, Samantha indulges in the very habits that have brought her to her current condition, which makes us wonder if she is really ready to lose any weight at all. Here is how her journey began.
The point where it's getting hard to fit through the door, mostly because of my stomach and how far it hangs. And it's getting so hard to keep clean. I've had to go from bathing every day to about every 4 days because I have to work so hard to do it. But even on days when I push myself to do it, some areas I can't even reach without using a stick or something.
Now, not only is it challenging for Samantha to take her bath, but she can barely do basic things like get dressed without breathing heavily. Seeing her condition at 800 plus pounds, one would think that Samantha would be very dedicated to losing weight and getting into a healthier size. Well, that's until we saw this.
Food is just so good to me. Food can fill me up and make me feel the most comfort that I've ever felt. It makes me feel like I'm at home and that I'm safe as long as I'm full and happy, because food is a hug from the inside. And no matter how much I eat.
We all know the answer to that question, and we are sure Samantha does too, but most of us don't get the push to consistently work on a change until we're faced with a life-threatening situation. In Samantha's case, she got a wake-up call when she feared that her body was failing and that she was going to pass away, leaving her beloved daughter Bella all alone.
Here we go. This was excruciating. That was just a horrible experience, and I'm gonna go to the hospital. I've never been in this much pain, and it's really scaring me, and that my body's gonna give out now. I love you. Everything's good. You don't have to take care of me now. I love you. Because I wanna make it, and I wanna be there for Bella.
That was such a sad sight to see, but hey, Sam would finally be getting the help she needs, right? At this point, Samantha is terrified of what her life will look like if she doesn't turn a new leaf very soon. She has many fears, which she discusses with her doctor. Here is how their conversation went down.
This is a very bad situation, Sam.
I know.
You say that, but you're still eating whatever you want.
And as much as you want. And pretty soon you're gonna hit 1,000 pounds, huh?
I hope not. Every pound that I hear that is added, I'm a realist, and I just assume that if I keep going, my heart's gonna stop and it's not gonna come back. Something's gonna happen if I don't fix it.
Right. Samantha's doctor decided to help his patient out by providing her with a strict diet and weight loss plan that would enable her to lose at least 50 pounds in 2 months. The good news is that Sam claims that she's ready to follow the strict diet and weight loss plan her doctor provides. But would she really follow suit with the plan? Let's find out.
I've been following the diet. Sometimes it's just like, why bother? If food makes me happy and I'm gonna die anyways, why don't I just make myself happy? Look at that. I'm right off the bone.
It's really hard to watch my mom like this.
It's so good it makes me want to cry.
Is it actually really that good?
It really is.
Yikes! All it took was for Samantha to be back home, and her diet plan flew out the window. Although keeping to a strict diet plan can be very hard, especially when you don't have someone you're accountable to, we didn't expect Samantha's motivated spirit to dwindle that fast. What's worse, throughout her stay at home, Samantha's weight increased from around 800 pounds to 974 pounds.
Hi, Samantha.
Hello.
Dr. Hidari, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Nice. Sam, this is really exciting. You get to get out of the hospital finally. You've done really well. You know, I'm so proud of you. Okay?
Thank you.
You know, this was major surgery. It was a big risk. We took a risk.
Her doctors may have helped her lose some weight with the surgery, but Samantha still had a long way to go. From rehab to physical therapy and adhering to a strict diet, she would be able to lose more weight and live a healthier life in the future. At least that's what Dr. Haydari said.
Today, Samantha is being discharged to rehab after being in the hospital for a while.
Want to get off on that side of that or this side of it?
Everybody's hearing. I'm not an orangutan, guys. Just a really large human. Yeah, I'll come up the side.
We're only going to be able to keep Sam in rehab for about a month, maybe a little bit longer.
At 39 years old, Irene Walker, just like most obese people, has a terrible eating habit. While her exact weight is unknown, Irene looks like she is a little above 600 pounds. Boy, is she so undisturbed about her weight. Maybe it's because she still has the strength to walk around and carry out basic tasks without so much struggle. Heck, she is even able to take her bath twice a day.
Even with all the weight I have on me now, I'm still able to get around and do some basic things myself, like cleaning myself on my own still. So I push myself to do that. But it's hard. It's very hard. When you're my size, you have so many areas you have to keep clean. I get out of breath and it's very painful. So I'm never fully clean because I can't do it all at once.
Not many people on this show are able to carry out simple tasks like getting out of bed easily, let alone have their bath twice a day, but Irene can. At that size, she could have made up her mind to start living a healthier life, but the fact that she could do a lot of things on her own despite being as obese did not allow her to see that she was in a bad situation. So, she continued to indulge in an unhealthy lifestyle, eating uncontrollably.
So you mean to tell me you finna eat all this chicken? You wanted all this? Irene, really? Mm-hmm. But what I'm eating? I just want to be left alone to eat. I don't want to hear all that. But they at least still bring me what I want. So I can overlook that. Plus, when I'm eating, it helps me forget everything else and block out a lot. You know, because when I have any of my favorite foods, all the hurt of me is taken away.
Crazy, right? What's worse, she stayed on the couch throughout the entire day, eating like her life depended on it. Irene knew that her eating habits were affecting her health big time and was what had gotten her to where she was in the first place. But did she care about it? Nope. All she cared about was gobbling as much food as she could.
Whenever I have something to eat, I will not stop until I eat it all. When I'm done eating, then like an hour later, I ask somebody to come give me some more food. Because I never want the feelings that food gives me to stop. So I just sit and eat for the rest of the day. Because food is how I survive, you know?
So sad. It's crazy that Irene has gotten to a stage where she no longer cares about herself and just has to eat. After her parents got separated when she was a kid, she became depressed and turned to food as a coping mechanism. And since then, her life has spiraled with her eating every food she lays her eyes on. Even at the church, Irene would be there only for food.
Where it started was at church. Because my mom was a church woman, so she went to church every day of the week. And, you know, there was always food at the church functions and plates of food and pastries. And I just eat as much as I could. I used to just eat myself basically into a coma until I threw up and stuff like that.
At 11 years old, Irene was already 140 pounds, and when she got into high school, she was over a whopping 250 pounds. By the time Irene was 16, she was pregnant with her son, Jacky. One would think that she would make attempts to lose weight for the sake of her baby, but she didn't. Instead, Irene gained 100 pounds more during her pregnancy.
With the pregnancy, I put on another 100 pounds, and I was up over 350. But with the stress of having a child then, I just kept eating to deal with that. You know, because I was terrified. I had to drop out of school, and I didn't know what I was going to do.
Granted, she didn't know what to do at such a young age, but Irene is now a grown-ass 35-year-old woman who lives with her son and his wife, burdening the young couple with her obesity problems, which she brought upon herself. She says she feels bad for imposing on them, but she is not even willing to turn a new leaf and live a healthier life.
I had to move in with my oldest son, Jacky, and I feel bad because I really want him to live his life, but because I'm his mother, I think he feel like he's obligated because I took care of him in the past.
Every day is an uphill battle because my mom can't control her eating. I feel like you should always be there for your mom. So I'm trying my best to take care of her, but trying to get my mom to eat the right stuff for her.
But while the son hopes his mom gets better and tries to get her to eat healthy, the mother isn't having any of it. I don't know what exactly can motivate Irene to eat healthier, but at this point, nothing seems to move her. Not even the pitiful look on her niece's face each time she's stuffing her face with food.
Annie, is you gonna eat all that?
Girl, well, hell yeah. When I'm eating, I feel good, I feel happy. And it's the only time I feel like that. I want to be happy. So I never want to stop eating, even when I'm full. I push myself to finish off the food that I have to make sure it's all gone so no one will get it. So once I have what I want, I'm gonna eat it all no matter what.
In this episode, one of Holly Hager's problems is that she suffers from having an overindulging family. Her mom would go to the moon and back to fulfill Holly's cravings, all in the name of not wanting to disappoint her beloved daughter. How would your daughter weigh almost 700 pounds and yet still ask if she would love to have as many as 8 patties? Unbelievable, right? Take a look at it yourself.
You want me to make 4 patties?
Can you do 6?
Yeah, I got enough to do 8. How many you want?
Why don't you do 8?
All right.
Wow, this is somebody who shouldn't even be eating any patties, yet she has about 8 for dinner. But that's not even the worst part. It turns out that Holly's mom used to try to make Holly eat less so she wouldn't gain too much weight. But for a reason only God knows, she stopped. And that is one thing Holly is thankful for.
Change I'm happy about in our relationship is that my mom is no longer trying to get me to lose weight or eat better. I think a part of her likes some of the food I eat, and I feel like eating is a time where we bond, and it's the one thing that we can do to spend time together.
Holly and I have had conversations about eating, dieting, and I know I'm an accommodator, but she is hungry all the time. And the idea of her being hungry just eats me up.
You think? Of course, being a whopping 700 pounds isn't healthy, but Holly's family would rather allow their daughter to eat herself into a coma than support her in seeking the help that she needs. Even her husband, Ray, prefers to watch her stuff her face with loaded fries and other takeouts, which he brings home, rather than curb her overeating. Thankfully, Holly gets a wake-up call and decides that she cannot continue living this way. So, Dr. Now to the rescue.
It's been about a month since my appointment with Dr. Now. I've been working on making the changes I need to do his diet and exercise to get my stamina up like I need. And I'm trying to rely less on the wheelchair and move around more. And I feel like I'm making progress and that I'm looking a little smaller. I just really hope it's enough, because I'm sacrificing a lot and working really hard to do this.
You wanna cut this up?
I'll start chopping the lettuce.
Holly, I'll have 8 patties is now eating salads? That's quite an improvement if only she did not splatter so much ranch and cheese on it. Mind you, this woman had already attempted to lose some weight as directed by Dr. Now to prepare her for weight loss surgery. Clearly it didn't work out because she couldn't quit her overeating habit. This is Holly's second chance. So far she has moved to a new home with her husband, Ray, but has she been sticking to the diet? Let's find out.
But I hadn't eaten since breakfast and Ray hadn't eaten all day, and I tried to pick something that at least had veggies in it so that I wasn't totally eating wrong.
Oh, common Holly. If this isn't a total way of eating wrong, then I don't know what else is. Having Chinese and a couple of egg rolls, and yet plans on meeting the 50-pound target Dr. Now had set for her? Nah. It doesn't look like Holly is trying too hard to stay away from unhealthy meals at all. This makes me wonder how exactly she plans to have that surgery. Would she eventually do away with her unhealthy eating lifestyle and meet her weight loss target? Well, we'll find out at the weigh-in with her doctors at the hospital. Here we go.
Then, we're not really set up to cook. So we're ordering delivery from places around here a lot until we can get some pots and pans and stuff to cook with. But Ray said he's gonna look for a job tomorrow, and he'll get all that while he's out, and we can start prepping healthy meals.
So now that we're down here, you ready for the challenge ahead of us?
Yes. As far as I'm concerned, this is our last meal out. Tonight we had Chinese for dinner. I had cashew chicken and a couple of egg rolls, which isn't the healthiest.
Speaking of Dr. Now, she definitely doesn't want to hear what he has to say upon seeing her woeful result. Even I am scared for her, but what's crazier is how Holly keeps saying that she doesn't understand why she didn't lose as much as she was supposed to. After devouring a full plate of loaded fries and having a couple of egg rolls, she must be kidding me. But anyway, let's see what Dr. Now has to say about Holly's self-inflicted situation.
Holly Hager, how are you?
I'm okay. At my last appointment, I was down to 629. And Dr. Now told me I needed to try and lose 50 pounds again to be at or under 579 today. I'm really upset and I don't understand why my progress isn't that good. So I'm shocked and confused and nervous to hear what Dr. Now is going to say.
Whoops, I definitely didn't see that coming. Trust Dr. Now to say things as they are. Plus, I think Holly deserves to hear the truth. If her family is afraid to break her heart, best believe that Dr. Now isn't. But I believe that Holly still has a chance. And just like Dr. Now said, she has to work on the main issues that are causing her to rely heavily on food.
So you want to tell me why that is?
I don't know. I thought I was doing good till I saw the scale.
Holly, stop playing games and lying to me, you know exactly what you're doing when you're making the choices you do. I'm not gonna play along with this act. You have this dynamic where you act like a child who doesn't understand. So everyone gives up on trying to get you to do what you should. That's not gonna work on me. You got that?